I must tell you about accreditation. Accreditation, I didn't know what accreditation was. None of us knew that there was a thing called accreditation. But one day I was working in the masjid on a Sunday, and I was always involved in putting down all the plants and planting and this and that, the landscaping. And then lo and behold, a man came into the compound, and I saw him driving back and forth. So I stopped him. I said, "Can I help you? I see you're driving back and forth. Are you looking for somebody?" He said, "Yes, I heard that you have a school here." I said, "Yes, we have a school." I said, "And I'm one of the directors of the school." He said, "Can I see the principal?" I said, "The principal is not here, but if you leave information, I could have them contact you." So this man, and I don't remember his name now, I'm sure the school people will remember his name because he was very instrumental in getting us started into the accreditation. It turns out that we contacted him. I handed the card over to Yusuf. Yusuf called him in. He came, and he became our advisor. He said, "Listen, I'm running a church school also. If you guys want to know how to get your school accredited, I can help you." And we thought that was very good of him. He was a Christian man. He was a very open-minded guy. We started paying him consultation fees. He started helping us. He introduced us to the powers to be. It turns out he was just the immediate president or immediate past president of the Florida Council of Independent Schools. So he got us up to that point, and we started now looking at how we can accredit our school. And our school, Nur Ul Islam Academy, I think holds the record, if I'm not mistaken, as the shortest time to accreditation of any school in Florida. We became accredited within under 2 years. We got accreditation. And accreditation sapped our energy. It was like a full-time undertaking. And I must say, for posterity and for people who don't know, Yusuf Muhammad was the man who spent 5 or 6 years of his life single-handed. He owned a junkyard in Fort Lauderdale. In fact, he earned the nickname Junkyard Yusuf. And he would come to the academy sometimes at 8 o'clock in the morning and would not go home till 12 o'clock at night, researching all the different things that we needed to do. And he's the one who trained Kem Hussein during that time. And they worked together with this brother whose name I cannot remember now, Indian brother, who was a very good teacher who came and helped us also during that time. Got a lot of he brought his own children to the school. Kem Hussein brought his children, who were tiny tots when he came here. And they also graduated from Nur Islam Academy. One is an attorney now, one is an engineer, 2 attorneys, 1 engineer, I think from beginning to end. So we went on, and the school developed from strength to strength. We got accreditation, initial accreditation, we got a 3-year extension of our accreditation, and we were just building our programs, getting better teachers, getting teachers that we were paying more and more. We were able to raise more and more funds. We were able to raise funds. We had to raise funds not only to run Nur Islam as an organization. We had to raise funds for Nur Islam as an organization, We had to raise funds to further the aims and objectives of the school. We had to raise funds to continue the building, the construction. So there was a lot of competing issues for money in the organization. And many people could not see that in order to put the school on the map, we had to dedicate so much time and energy behind it. But Yusuf would come in early morning, leave late at night, sometimes there till 2 o'clock in the morning, working away, developing manuals, developing teaching plans. We used to have monthly meetings reviewing the performance of every student in the academy. I mean, it was a very, very tedious, we literally micromanaged each student that we had in the academy. And then when we started getting results, people really didn't know how these results came about. But they just thought that, well, accreditation did it all, but it was a lot of hard work. And eventually, the point came where Yusuf did nothing else for 4 or 5 years than manage the school single-handedly. Because after Hassan Sabri left, Imam Hassan Sabri left, we had to have somebody else to, and he was the next best person. He was, involved in all the management things, and once the school was on board, we were able to go around and talk to people. Fortunately or unfortunately, Nur Islam don't have a lot of professionals, people that we can call large donors. There were a few people, and they gave whatever they could. And we decided that we have to go, this school is open to all comers, and therefore we have to go to the other communities, because this school is not a Nur Islam school. It's a school that will service the whole community. And once we started the school, then other people got the idea of starting schools too. So we had the mushroom. We had ISF. The Pakistanis decided they wanted their own school. The Arabs went off. Al-Azhar started their own school. And so many others started off, around the area. Even though I went with Yusuf, many other people went, and we sat down with those people and we said, listen, do not build new schools until we fix this school. Help us to fix Nur Islam Academy. We will help you to fix your school. We will help you. We have got the know-how now. We have the ability to do it. We'll help you to get there faster. It didn't work. So a lot of the funds were dissipated in all these different schools. Everybody was now building his own schools. So that was a natural result of the whole thing. I remember vividly, we had a fundraiser at Mehfil restaurant one year, somewhere around the 2000. And I said to the gathering, and I don't know all the people at that point who were in the gathering, but a lot of people came. And I said to them, listen, I said, I am literally giving away my children's inheritance to build Nur Islam Academy. And I said, I think that it's now time for other people in this community to start seeing that this is something that is needed, and that we should start wide-based support for the school. And a brother, Ashraf Hamdani, came forward after my talk, and he said, brother, whatever you need, let me know, and I will help you to do this. And little did we know at that point that that brother will come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars to support the school from his family's foundation. And that brother really set us off on an upward trajectory. And we were able to do all the other things. We were able to build our programs. We were able to bring in more modules. We were able to increase the number of students. We were able to increase our fees, and we started giving scholarships. Instead of having 50% of the students coming in for free, we were now able to reduce it to 25%. Some were partial pays, some were not paying, some were scholarships. And then, of course, we got lucky. We got into all these different scholarship programs. Our students started performing. They became eligible for scholarships, and the funding, the rest was history. We were able to do what we were doing. The school building, the two-story high school building, alhamdulillah, it took 5 years to complete, not 10 years. But that building also lagged along because of lack of expertise. By that time, Aziz had passed away. We had other people put on the foundation, and the people we had leading us were not people who were having our interests at heart. And therefore, eventually, when I saw, and other people saw, Gul Muhammad and others saw, we were not making any progress, we got together and said, listen, what is it that we need to do to get this thing going? And then we realized that we didn't have the expertise. We were having subcontractors, and we had no idea what these subcontractors were supposed to do. We were failing inspections. We were going back and doing things and redoing things that were done before and all kinds of things. So it took a long time. We gained a lot of knowledge in that period of time, to the point where if we have to go and now build a mosque, we have a totally different approach to it. And we know that we have to have project managers and hold people accountable and having time frames to work in and all that kind of stuff. So those are things that we have gathered from the time. The school, well, as the school matured and people started hearing the school having large budgets and this and that, well, people came up with the idea, why is the school costing so much to run? We can run the school for half the price. And therefore, some of the politically minded tried to get hold of the institution and the organization, tried to throw out the entire school board, and they wanted to take over the school. Many groups tried that. The West Indian groups tried it. The Arab groups tried it. Who are you? You don't own the school. We can do a better job. So, over the years, as president, as chairman of the board of trustees, as chairman of the school board, I personally have had so many challenges. Challenges to my life, challenges to my family's life, challenges to my practice of medicine, challenges to to the fact that I'm not a good Muslim. How can you run this organization? You're not a Muslim. All kinds of things like that. People will attack you personally. People will come to the masjid and try to read 2 Maghrib Salah in the same day, and all kinds of things that we had to withstand. But this is what it takes to run this kind of organization and stay the course. So I hope that by this documentation, people of Nur Ul Islam, those who are here and those who are not here, will realize that in order to continue this legacy, in order to make it grow, we are here, we have got lots of programs, we don't have a lot of involvement. Our lack of selling our programs to people for them to understand where we are going, what we want to accomplish, maybe partly it's our fault that we have not been able to. We have spent all our time in building programs and building buildings, and we have not been able to go out and build, as some of the brothers have said, build the Muslims. And then we are here now. How do we build the Muslims? Where do we get them? How do we get them? If we call a bazaar, or we call a food day, or something which is free, they will all come. I'm not knocking them for that, but if you call them for some educational program, you will rarely see them. And if you say to them, come brother, help us to do this, they can't see what that is. Helping you to do what? And I say to them, it's helping you do something for your hereafter. Right? I have done my part, and I continue to do my part. When I started out, I didn't realize what I was getting involved in. But little by little, I had to read books. I had to read books on how to settle quarrels, how to deal with disputes, how to deal with leadership issues, how to recruit people, how to raise funds. I have books upon books that I have given people to read in our organizations. How to build team, how to build a team building. All of these things were part of the things. How to improve a school. All of these things people have spent their life doing. We are now charting new territory, but these things have already, people have gone ahead of us. And these things are well sought out and thought about, so that we just have to build upon what they have to teach us and open our minds. I have said to some people that khutbahs, Friday sermons, lectures is not going to do it. We need to go and meet people in their homes. We need to meet people eyeball to eyeball, reach them at the level of their heart, and show them what this is about, and show them how they can be involved and why they need to be involved. Because nothing works in a vacuum. If our people who were so highly motivated at one time to build organizations and buildings and institutions are not careful, all is going to be lost, because there's always going to be people who will come along and say to us, I have no idea how this came about, but it's there and I will make the best use of it. I sometimes tell people that over the years, many Guyanese, non-Guyanese, many Trinidadians have come along, and they have said to me when they look around the Nur Islam campus, brothers, how did you all do this? This is wonderful. How did you do it? Because those people who have been involved in their own communities, be it in Canada, be it in New York, in New Jersey, or wherever they come from, they know the kind of work that needs to be put in. The thousands of hours, meetings after meetings, that are needed to build consensus, and for us to convince one another that this is how it should be done, and for all the people to pull in the same direction to make things happen. So that's what is needed. And the challenge, maybe at a later time I will talk about the challenges, because in handing over recently I have enumerated about 20 items that I think is a challenge for this organization going forward. And if those things are not addressed, then we are going to be in a worse shape than we are today. So those were the initial pioneers that I must say that I'm proud and humbled by to be associated with those people, because those were people that really were highly motivated. They were coming to a new land. They were coming to a place where all they knew were their fellow Muslims, and all they were there was to build programs and continue to worship the way they worship in their own country, whether it be Trinidad, Guyana, Caribbean, Pakistan, India. We had a set of values, and we said to people, these are what we think are our values, and come and help us to replicate it. We can help you if you need help to build your school, your mosque, or whatever it is. We can help you to raise funds, but we will be here if you need any help or any advice. And that's why you see, even up to today, we have an open door policy. Many people come from all parts of the world or parts of the country to Nur Islam to raise funds, and we say, yes, come. We appeal to the people, tell them what you're doing, and we don't stop anybody from doing that, because all the projects need to be funded. And who else to fund it but the people who believe that these things are worthwhile in funding. So those were some of the pioneers that I taught, that helped us in those early days in, the driving forces in the politics of Islam in South Florida spawned many new jamaats, many new organizations. Everybody felt that they had to do something of their own, and therefore, they're entitled to that. And many of them were successful in doing those things. And we helped them, we advised them. Whenever they came to us and asked for advice, we gave them advice. We sought their advice. So we always had an open door policy in terms of getting people to help us. The communities, whether they be Sunni, Shia, whatever they are, we had many people from all different walks of life, Muslims from all different denominations, so to speak, that were able to help us because they saw the need and they saw that what we were doing had some merit. And many people came from Canada and other parts of the United States to take copies of our Constitution, to say, what is it in your Constitution that really makes it click? And the Constitution saved us in many respects. When critical issues came up, the Constitution was there to back us up, that this is the way that we have to do things, and this is what we are following, and this is how we are going to do it, and all that kind of stuff. So in many ways, we echoed the American Constitution. In many ways, we have suffered the ill effects of the American Constitution. When I look around, we had our January 6th, long before January 6th. All of this stuff we had, and we survived it. We survived it because there were a set of people that we were able to convince of certain principles that were important. My brother Hazrat Khan, he's getting on in age now, but he was very critical in certain votes at one point in our history, that where one vote could have gone this way or the other way. And so there were many issues like that where people were convinced or they believed in the institution that we had built, and that it should stay that way and it should not be changed in any other fashion. And it has stood a good test of time. And I hope, inshallah, that as time goes on, people will see the value of it, because Muslims or non-Muslims, as people come together, there are always things that are going to divide them. But the more you can find things that unite them, and the belief, the faith that they have, that's the thing that is going to make them successful. I always say that I developed into a much better Muslim than I started out from where I started. I was forced to rise to the occasion, and I was forced to help others to rise to the occasion. And therefore, the challenge now is to convince others that these are things that are worth doing. There's people come along and they say everything has been done already. All the buildings have been built, but they don't see the plans that are on paper. Do we need at this point to make better Muslims? Right?
Yeah.
Do we need to convince people that there is something to becoming a better Muslim? Who am I to tell people that they are not good Muslims or that they could be better Muslims? How do we convince the Muslims that we have been entrusted with passing on the Prophet Muhammad's message? We haven't even scratched the surface of doing that. So when I talk to young people and they say, what do you want me to do? In the last 2 or 3 years, I've been challenging various people in our organization to say, put 5 people together in a room and I will be happy to talk to them. Talk to them because of my experience, my hands-on experience, my theoretical experience, the experience that I've gained from reading of the errors and the success of other people. Those are the things that we need to pass on so that people can become the people who will take care. You can build a building, but that building needs maintenance. The roof has to be repaired. The roof will leak. Things will fall off. The concrete will break. All of these things. Our organization has been sued for millions of dollars. Little did we know years ago that it would make sense to have liability insurance that paid the entire millions of dollars that we were paying premiums for. Little did we know that teachers, our own teachers, will sue us. So, in the United States, when all is going well, something will happen. There will always be challenges. There will always be things that will happen. And, how do we know that we have all the good Muslims that we have coming and going every day? That somebody will challenge us that somebody got sexually harassed on our premises and all kinds of things like that. So, those are things that we got to be, living in America, we have to be aware of, and we have to learn from our experiences and not be naive. Like the way we started, we shouldn't end up the same way. We have to end up in a better way. We are going to be limited in how many students we have in our school. We are going to be limited in how many people we can put in our mosque on a Eid day, but that doesn't mean that we cannot continue to do a lot of things. In the early days, and again, I don't want to name names, but there were some executives that when the time came to purchase the piece of land on Sterling Road, we could have purchased that land for $100,000. We lost it because people didn't see the importance of that. When we looked around, and some of us looked at that nursery property across the other side of the road, we decided that there's no way that we were going to allow somebody else to buy that property. And we put funds together and we bought that property. And today, Nur Islam can't buy that property. No way they can buy that property for the value that it is today. So all of those things required foresight and required planning that occurred 10, 20, 30 years ago. I must say that I thank Allah that I have survived for so many years and been involved with so many successful people that have been there to help all of us to get where we are, and we have to recognize them. And part of this documentation is to recognize those people. We recently put the names of the founding members on plaque so that people for the years to come will see the names of their families and their loved ones, that these were the people who came to America for whatever reason. Some of us came to further our education. Some of us came running away from political persecution. Some of us came because we just wanted to be in the warm weather. Or for whatever reason they came. They were here, they made their mark, they made their contribution, some more than others, but they all should understand that somebody had to do this for it to become reality. So that's what we always have to remember, that recognize that somebody had to do this. And we don't knock them, we don't cast aspersions at them. We thank them for whatever they did and however they did it. Allah has blessed some of us to be part of it, to be involved intricately in the inner workings, inner decision makings, and ultimately whenever the time comes, names of certain people are mentioned. Oh, so-and-so was involved in this, so-and-so was involved in this. But I say to you, no one man can do what has been done. It is the effort of so many people who came along and said and believed in things and said, we need to do something that nobody has done before, and therefore we are going to challenge ourselves to do it. Is there a lot more to do? Yes. Nur Islam Academy has been successful? Yes. Do we need to build more Nur Islam Academies? Yes. Do we need to build more people that we can send to Al-Azhar, that we can send to Medina, that we can send to law school and medical school and pharmacy school and architectural school? That will always be there. We will always need that. So I sometimes say to people that we need to emulate the Jewish people. 100 years ago, they came to this country and they were not even accepted in any university. They built their own universities. They funded their own programs. They built their own hospitals. They built their own institutions. And today they are largely successful. Do we do the same? Do we have to do it exactly the same? No, we can evolve our own ways of doing. But if we are going to be here, we are not going back to where we came from. Therefore, we got to make the best of this place. And making the best place of this place means we have got to be involved in running it, in making critical decisions, in making ethical decisions. Today, when in the internet age, truth is not truth and falsehood is not truth, we are challenged more and more to say there is a need for somebody, some group of people to say this is how it's going to be done and this is what is important. So there is a need, a great need for all of these things to be done, and that's how we will make our mark.